So here it has the function f of x equals x to the 5 plus x has an inverse function g. So let's ignore anything else after this. What does inverse mean? Ish. X's and y's are switched. So x becomes y and y becomes x. Do you agree? So we have x equals y to the 5. Please be quiet. Plus y. F of x is what? We're at the end of yesterday's. That's why I said you have to have yesterday's out.
And one correct question on the board.
Oh boy.
Hey, it's not like that.
When you do this, you would actually have to get y by itself. Is there a way to do that? No. So I let everyone flounder because doing 30-1 inverse doesn't actually work. So what happens is when you come to a test, you guys will switch x's and y's, get stuck, or do some convoluted math, and try and tell me the answer. There is a theorem for inverses. The theorem for inverse is you have to do g prime of x equals 1 over f prime, and they call it x0. It's what you're going to have to do whenever you do this. So we see that this is x, and we know that this x is going to be a 2. We know that, right? This x here is going to be a 2. Is that an x, though, or is that x0? X sub 0. So they're not the same x's. Okay? We do know that x's and y's become y's and x's. That was a true statement you gave me at the beginning, which is true. Whenever you're given an inverse, the first step is you need this equation to get the derivative of it. The second step is you need to find x0. What the heck is it? Well, how you find it is if I want to know x0, I want the x that would be the same. So if this is an x in the inverse, what was it in the original? It was a y equals 2 on the original. We agree? So I have a y value on the original, but I don't know what that corresponding x value is, which is what I need to find in number 2. How would I do that? Nope. 2 on the original is not the x value. It's the y value. To solve for x. So this is the x on the inverse, which means that 2 is y on the original. So if I go to my original, I get 2 equals x to the 5 plus x. We agree? Because it's the y value, not the x on the original. Y values in the inverse are x's, and x values in the inverse are y's. So this is an x value. So it's my y. I can plug it in. Then I get 0. Actually, type this into y1. Nope, that's an eraser. Type this into y1. Type this into y2. What does x equal when they intersect? It equals 1, correct? When they intersect, it's 1. Yes? Your third step is to fill in the formula. You'd have to do synthetic division. And then you'd have to use your plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2 factors and see which one gets your remainder of 0. All right, so now we can fill into our formula. In formula. So we have g prime of 2, which is what we're trying to find, equals 1 over f prime of what? What we just find x0 to be? 1. Now if I just find f prime of 1, I put that number on the bottom, I'm done. That's it. So, I need the derivative first, right? So it's going to be 5, 1 to the 4, and what's the derivative of x? 1. So what does this result in? 6. So g prime of 2 actually equals 1 over 6. So the 2 never has to be filled in there, because you're filling the 2 in step 2 to actually solve for x. That's where that 2 is involved. So if they ever ask for the derivative of an inverse, do not do what you guys wanted to do at first, which was switch the x's and y's and try and get a derivative of that. I let you flounder so that hopefully when you go to do it again, you're like, wait a second, I remember this moment. Did all this work for nothing? And you go to your formula.
We did in class.
Hmm?
I'm going to do it again, but just this time we'll remember that we did in class.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So how do you know that the step 2 is x? Like, this is 0 like original, or it's supposed to be x and 0?
It's just your original. Yeah. But 0 means the original anyways, right? It would be like your 0x anyways. Okay. So then you would do these. I don't know how I have a 4 instead of a t. That's cool. Let's look at example 2. So we have finding the equation of a tangent line. So now we have the function of f of x is 1 to 1 and has an inverse function g. Once again, it's giving us inverse. So it says find an equation of the tangent line to the graph of g at the point 8, 2. So they want us to find g prime of what? 8. Because this is a coordinate on g, yes? And it's g prime of x, yes? So we want, this is going to be our m tangent, because it's the first derivative. So we want g prime of 8, so we want 1 over f prime of xo. We just need to find out what the xo is, right? How do we get it? We're going to fill the what into here? What in for what? 8. Why do we fill the 8 in for y? Because the original coordinate would be what? 2, 8. Do you walk into movies and tell them Old Yeller died and then walk out? So I feel like you might be doing to me right now. Stealing my thunder. X cubed plus 2x minus 12. Find out what x is. So, someone may have hinted or told you that if they gave you the coordinate already, 8, 2, the last one, did I give you the full coordinate? I just gave you the x, which is the y, and I needed to find the corresponding x. Yes? On the last one, I technically had 2, comma, this on the inverse. So the original would have been question mark, comma 2. And so I have to find the question mark, which we don't use the question mark in variables, but I want to prove points. Okay? Then someone might have said, hey, if you're given x, y, and this is y, x, y, because I flip-flop them, then do I actually have to plug in the 8 and solve for the x? No, I gave it to you. X is 2. XO is 2, because I gave you the corresponding x that goes with the y. You didn't have to solve for it at all. So we're going to look for f prime of 2. So if they give you the coordinate of the inverse, they actually gave you all the information you need, correct? You flip-flop it and you have the other x value. Then we have to find f prime of 2. I love how that photocopier squeaks. It's great. So f prime of x is 3x squared plus 2. F prime of 2 is 3 times 2 squared plus 2, which is 14. So my m tangent is 1 over 14. Do they want a tangent line to the original, or do they want a tangent line to the inverse? Because your coordinate's different. Inverse. So my x1, y1 is 8, 2. And your m tangent equals 114. So you're going to get y minus 2 equals 1 over 14, x minus 8. Done. I was going to move on, but I will let you do those questions. Try them out. This is page 245.